Broadcasting from Slough. Streaming around the world.
This is Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio. Oh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
The podcast.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Hello, welcome to episode 124 of the best bits of Atom Radio's breakfast show. I don't know why I said that with such great drama. It's just another week of random musings that came from 5 radio shows this week. But anyway, if you weren't there live, or even if you were, then here it comes, the best bits this week, which includes masks, old stuff, an unwanted job, certainly by me anyway, I would not want to do this, taking the mick for free, an 8-year-old with a promising career, certainly a career path that was not open to me at the age of 8. We spoke about fashion, we spoke about Welsh wildlife, and of course one of the hot topics is the fact that kids finish online learning at the end of yesterday, as of when this podcast releases on the 6th of March, and headed back to school on the 8th of March, so we talked about schoolifying songs. Enjoy! AtomRadio.co.uk. I spoke to a friend on Friday and we were discussing masks, and he was saying, you know, like, I think we'll still have to wear masks. Well, wait 1 minute. Aren't we told that the 21st of June is the earliest date at which all remaining restrictions will be removed? That would, to me, therefore include masks as well.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
The COVID roadmap was laid out last Monday, which gave us, if all goes well and according to plan, 112 days until we get freedom. However, the Brazilian variant, identified as a variant of concern, has now been identified in the UK. Cases have been found in Scotland and in Gloucester from people flying into Aberdeen, from Brazil via Paris and London. The Scottish government have said other passengers on the same flights are being contacted. That's not good. People went out at the weekend, went to beaches and places like that. Of course, we are still in lockdown. Stay at home, essential journeys only, and if you do go out for exercise, keep it local. Remains the policy. I have to say, a friend of mine did chuff off from Slough to Hastings on Saturday, posting pictures of her day out with her boyfriend and their little toddler. And I did message them and say, has lockdown ended? And no one told me. And she just replied, I don't think so, no. I therefore just assume that she's dumb and genuinely didn't get my point by any stretch of the imagination.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Back on topic today, we're asking you if you could play absolutely anybody in a movie about their life story, who would you choose? See what I've done? I've turned the question on its head. Everyone always says, who would play you in a movie? Well, no, today I want to know, whose life would you want to take on to play in a movie? I have to say, I think Chris just basically wants a mention on the show. Mark, if I could play anyone, I'd play yours because you seem really interesting. Chris, I can tell you now, if you were to play my life, other than my son, it's incredibly boring. You'd probably walk out on the job halfway through thinking, nah, this is not what I signed up for. But you've got your mention.
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Morning then, Mark Denholm at breakfast on Atom Radio, live, loud and proud, standing out from the crowd. I do hope you are very well. Lady Gaga's dog walker has spoken out for the first time since the shooting. I'd imagine the first word was probably, ouch. That's probably true. You know, like after you've been shot, ouch would be a logical thing to say.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Right, so Nige says you can read it out, mate. Go for it. Nige has emailed me today. We're asking you about old stuff, being that it is National Old Stuff Day today. Old stuff that you still keep, you still use, and that you won't get rid of. Nige says to me, old stuff that I still keep and I still use and won't get rid of. My wife, I love her to bits. I could probably trade her in for a newer model, but even though she's getting on a bit now, she's, still useful and still worth keeping. I'm guessing, Nige, by the fact that you've emailed back and said that I can read that out, I'm guessing that your wife isn't actually listening right now.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Do you know what? I'm just sat here thinking in terms of old stuff. My parents gave me a towel dressing gown, and I was probably still a teenager at the time, and I still wear it. Like, it's got a hole in it, it's old, and I'm sure you could get much fluffier, fleecier ones, but I still wear it because it's just comfortable.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
The hunt for the missing person with the Brazilian variant of COVID-19 has been narrowed down to 379 households in the southeast somewhere, which is basically round where we are. But anyway, can you just imagine though? You know this person has tested positive for the Brazilian variant, which is possibly more contagious, we're told, which is also possibly more evasive to the vaccines than that, and you have to go knocking on the doors to find out who it is. Imagine that being your job for today. Not for me, thanks.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Today, we are asking you about Facebook. There's a Facebook group, Free to a Good Home in Slough. I think it might be Berkshire now. I don't know anyway. But I've noticed a lot of people asking for specific wants rather than needs for free, and also being very demanding on colours and sizes and the fact that people should deliver. My question, therefore, this morning, which we will get to after the headlines, if you could ask for absolutely anything free in this group and you thought you had a good chance of getting it, what would it be? On air at atomradio.co.uk.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Right, we're talking about this Facebook group this morning, Free to a New Home, Berkshire and Buckinghamshire, where people just blatantly take the mick and ask for stuff that is absolutely free. I mean, while I'm at it, right, I'm finished at 10. Maybe I should make a post. If anybody has any breakfast available, must include sausage and bacon, maybe a burger, don't include beans, don't include egg, and please deliver to SL1.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Morning, 23 past 7. This is Mark Denham at breakfast. We are live, we're loud, and we're proud on Atom Radio, playing the music you want to hear. An 8-year-old boy has been given a £23,600 signing bonus and a high-end gaming PC because he signed on with Team 33 to be a professional Fortnite player. What's going on? When I was a kid, we didn't have £23,600 bonuses for playing Chucky Egg, that's for certain.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Somebody, do you know what? I heard this earlier this week and I cannot find the actual thing about it now. But earlier this week, I remember reading it, it was claimed that socks and sandals is now cool. And let's be honest, socks and sandals has never, ever been cool. And never ever will be cool. And this applies to you as well, ladies. If you are somebody that wears sliders, they either are worn with socks as slippers in the house, or if you go out, then they're not slippers, they're flip-flops, and therefore you wouldn't wear socks with them. But the ladies do, and I don't know why. And the other bugbear I have, by the way, is Crocs. So we are asking you this morning the worst fashion faux pas that you have ever committed or that you have ever seen committed. And I do like this one. Morning, Liam. Liam does say, I remember getting dressed once in the dark because I didn't want to wake the missus, and I managed to put on 2 odd trainers. They were both white, but one was Reebok and one was Nike. And in the end, I just had to go to a sports shop and buy myself a new pair of trainers because I thought, I can't stand the shame.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
I do remember having a discussion years and years and years ago with my friend Blair, who absolutely chastised people for wearing Uggs and tracksuit bottoms, which I must admit I don't really think go together either. She said it's worse than that though. Most of the people in Slough are wearing fake Uggs and trackies, which is also very, very, very true.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Fashion faux pas from Lisa says camouflage. Camouflage is fine if you are in the army, but it's not really a fashion item, is it? Can you imagine, Lisa? Camouflage and socks and sandals. Oh.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Thank you to Steve Merry for his email. Local hero this man is. Although, back in the 90s when Steve was a little thinner than he is now, and he's not a fat man now. He's an all right lad, is Steve. But you may change your opinion on that. Steve thought skinny jeans and a silk shirt was a good look back in the 90s. Steve, do you know what? I am willing to bet, mate, that you could carry it off as a legend.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Residents of a West Sussex village this morning are waking up to find their pavement has been dug up and stolen. I don't know how, and I don't know why, but the council and the police are looking for concrete evidence. Thank you.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Remember we told you about the goats in Lockdown 1 that took over a Welsh town? Well, now they're back. Not only are they back, they've now taken over a Primark car park as well. I don't know what they're expecting to do, though, because obviously this is Wales, and non-essential shopping, total no-no.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
That leads us into, however, what we are talking about today. Schools go back on Monday, and I wanted to be ahead of the game on this. I could have done it on Monday, but I thought, no, I'm going to do it today so I can be ahead of the game. With schools heading back on Monday, I want you to give me a song that you can schoolify to make it relevant to Monday. So I'll kick it off with Squeeze and School for Cats. Over to you on air at atomradio.co.uk. Songs that you can schoolify, making them relevant to Monday when kids return to school.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Mick says, inspired by hearing Billie Jean, I was just thinking, if people refuse to send their kids to school, then they could be school criminals.
Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Mick came in earlier with School Criminal for those that don't send their children back to school on Monday, and then has a second one now with reference to the fact that everybody will be getting tested. Certainly in secondary schools, the kids will be tested, the teachers will be tested. Mick's second one, I think, do you know what, Mick, you may have won the day on this. Twisting by the school when they have to go through their COVID test before getting in.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
If I'm entirely honest, we had a great response this week to some of the topics that we threw out, the daily topics. And there's loads and loads that made the show but didn't make the podcast. So thank you if you did email in with a suggestion which made the show but didn't make the podcast. Otherwise, this podcast would just have been horrendously wrong. I must say that there was one yesterday that came in talking about schools, which didn't make either, because although I guess it was true and I guess it was meant in humour, it just wasn't really what I was looking for. But thank you anyway. If you have emailed in at all on any of our topics this week, thank you. If you've listened to the show, thank you as well. And of course, if you are checking out this podcast, then I thank you too. If you are a subscriber, you need do nothing. You will be notified next week of the next episode 125. However, if you're not a subscriber, you should consider going to your favourite podcast app and subscribing to the podcast. Back live Monday morning, 6 a.m. on Atom Radio with another week of breakfast. I will see you then.
Atom Radio. Playing the music you want to hear.
Atom Radio.
That's my boy. He'll be listening hopefully on Monday. You will be too. Have yourself a great rest of your weekend if you are listening at the weekend. See you Monday morning, 6 a.m.
AtomRadio.co.uk.